So I think we should do
Yeah.
like our little update, maybe a little intro.
I don't know.
Um,
I'm like gone blurry. Hang on.
mhm.
There we go.
Better. There we
Okay.
go. Oh my God, we're gonna have so many bloopers for the beginning
So
of
many
this.
bloopers. Oh my gosh.
At this point, calm down. Yes, I'm talking to her right now. Phone. Calm down. I'm getting a reminder to talk to you.
Oh.
Um, all right. So what do we want to do for an intro? Do we want to be like, is this an intro?
Yeah,
Are
I
we
feel like we
starting
could
a
totally
podcast?
just like we don't need an official intro. Just hey.
I like that. All right, so let's see. So you kind of last podcast talked about you were like gonna go into your wedding because we
Oh
were
yeah.
talking about
You
the
gotta cut me
wedding.
off sometimes.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, we're gonna podcast into another topic.
Yeah.
Um, so we have our wedding planner that just came out. We talked about it last podcast, so
Mhm.
it kind of transitioned us into this podcast. Well, the thing is that like we just podcast, like we just
Yeah.
talk and
We
we
just
have
talk.
tons to talk about.
Oh
And
yeah.
then I'm like, why aren't we recording ourselves? So so you guys kind of eloped then, kind of, right? Or
Sort of. Like our wedding story is like weird because we started making
so
plans like
you were engaged for like years though,
we
right?
were engaged for quite a while. I couldn't even tell you like the day we got engaged. Honestly, could not even tell you. It was very
It
casual
was
in the
just like,
living room, at the house, It's like, are we
love
doing
it.
this? Yeah, we're doing it. Like it was super casual. And
Okay.
but we were engaged for, year two, maybe a year at least. And we started making plans. And then we sort of started kind of like rushing our plans because we were thinking we were going to get married before my grandmother passed away. That was like our goal.
Mm-hmm.
Because she had cancer. And then at one point it was like, okay, we could be looking at a year. And so like I bought a dress and everything. Like it was in the closet. Like the dress was there. And
But you just
then
bought it online or something?
no, like David's bridal went, did fittings,
Oh, you
all
went
that,
like
it was a
dress.
dress.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a dress. Full on. I think my sister had like her maid of honor dress. It was in the closet. Like we had plans. And then, Nana's cancer progressed and it happened faster than anyone anticipated. So then we
Mhm.
just like put all our plans on hold and like just weren't gonna, we just didn't even think about it. And then one day it was just like, you know what? Like let's do this. Let's do this. And then it was like a week, maybe 2 weeks. 2 weeks at the most, literally, like that's all it was. And we're like texting people, like, hey, so we decided we're going to do this. You want to come? Like, like no invitations were sent out.
What are you doing next Thursday?
Yeah, it was like, it was either, hey, on like next weekend, or it was like 2 weekends from now, something like that, like text message to like people, like, and then word of mouth through family. Like that's all it was. And then Amazon Prime, Amazon Prime, and then getting crafty in the kitchen, So like
Mhm.
we ended up
Mhm.
doing something really small. Like we got one of those event type of tents that like we got on Amazon. So like this, it had the side panels with the cute little windows, the big white
Cute.
tent.
Yeah,
And then we got like
cute.
the little string party lights and hung those up inside. And we had like tables that we borrowed from the church. And then like I had been planning, because we had talked about this. So I had wine bottles like stored for table decorations and drank more than. And so I had them like stored everywhere. Like they're on top of cabinets. They were like in boxes. They were like everywhere. And getting the labels off those things, pain in the ass, by the way, pain in the ass.
Yeah, did you like
But
soak them and then use
yeah,
like
we
the
did the
Goo Gone?
soaking and with the like
Yeah,
Goo Gone stuff and the dish soap and the
terrible.
scrubbing and the knives. It was a whole thing. Pain in the ass, but we did it. And so then me and my sister were making like table decorations where we had like wine bottles stuck together and we did like ribbons and like flowers and it's a thing. So we did that. And we did for our cake, We did a custom colored cake through Publix, the Publix bakery. By the way, honestly, one of the best cakes I've ever had in my entire life. It's
You know
so
what's funny
good.
is because here in Oklahoma there aren't Publix. There aren't Publix.
Really?
Like there's only like Brahms and like Crest, which is very similar to Publix, but it's totally different. But I swear by Publix. Oh my
Oh my
gosh. Like
gosh,
being from
that
Florida,
cake
I
was
swear by Publix.
so good. And so we did like, my favorite color is teal. So of course, you know.
Mhm.
So we did like it was like an ombre from like a
Oh,
dark
nice.
teal to like a white. And then me and my sister got like those the little chocolate candies that are like look like pearls, and we like lined those and we had like sugar flowers and we, made it all like lovely and matched my nails to it, of course, because I had
Of
to.
course.
And
Hmm.
so we had like friends and family over and did it like literally in the driveway is where, our dog's having a moment there. Sorry about that. But like, we've got like the concrete parking pad like right out there. And so we set up the tent and the tables and we did it out there. And like we didn't do traditional vows. We like did research. We didn't write our own vows because we're not doing that, not memorizing anything, of course. But so we did, non-traditional vows and it was nice. It was fun. It was a lot to cram in like week, 2 weeks, but it was fun.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
photographs, that's another story. Mom was supposed to photograph. I told her, I was like, use my phone because it's better than your camera. She didn't. So not all the photos were great. But then Kevin had like a super tall uncle that took photos above everyone's heads. So he sent those in like a Google Doc thing, a folder or whatever. So it was nice. It was simple. It wasn't like crazy. I mean, yeah, we did have other plans for something more elaborate. Like we even looked at like this old church that's in a park not too far from here that my dad performed his very first wedding ceremony as a minister. And so we were going to
Hmm.
do that, but then that books out. You can't really be like, "Hey,
Oh.
next weekend we want to do something there." And then it
Mm-mm.
wasn't like because it was in a park, it wasn't completely private. So you could book the chapel, but anybody could just kind of like walk up. So we decided,
Don't love that.
don't necessarily want that. We don't know you, Bob, you know? So
Hmm.
she's like, honey, child, I'm gonna need you to quit. She's like so needy.
It's okay. We all are, aren't we? And speaking of needy,
Yeah.
my husband, we got engaged. Okay, so our story is like kind of crazy. And so we were engaged for a long time,
A
like
long
five
time.
years, long time.
Oh, wow, long
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. So it was kind of weird. When we first met, my husband was really young. He was only 19 when we met. And at the time I was like 23. So we had met, or we in like different stages of our lives, right? Well, I was kind of stunted because my life kind of fell apart at like 22, but um
Yeah.
I say
Sounds like
that,
an
but it's like
episode.
I well, no, my 20s could be a whole mini series on
Yeah.
Netflix. Because I was, you know how crazy I am now of like doing a million things at once. I was doing that on steroids then. I was like barely
Oh,
sleeping.
wow.
I'd be working like a 14, 16 hour day and then like going out and partying till like 2 o'clock in the morning and like getting up and going to work at 7 o'clock in the morning. Like
Oh, wow.
and I was like living with a friend who was in the Navy and she had this like swanky apartment. I was like barely paying rent to live there. And it was like so great. But that was only like 6 months period of time, like it when I was 22. Like
Oh,
so,
wow.
so like yeah, my whole 20s was really, really crazy because by the time I was 24, we were moving here. So
Oh.
we met. He was so young, but he was wanting to do this air traffic controlling thing, right? He was gonna go be an air traffic controller and all this stuff. So we were long distance for like the first 6 to 8 months of our relationship, pretty
Oh,
much.
wow.
So we were together for like 2 months. And then he's like, hey, by the way, I'm going to go to Oklahoma and go to school for like 6 months. And I was like, okay.
But what?
I was like, okay. Then, I flew here. We drove back to Florida. We lived in Florida for like 3 or 4 months and then we got engaged. So it was like a year into our relationship. He was like, I want to marry you. And I was like, I
Oh,
mean,
wow.
who doesn't?
Oh my
No,
God.
I mean, that was the kind of at my 20s, I was so broken. Like, I was so broken. I was like out of a really bad college relationship. And then I was like single, like single. And like, that was like, and living with a friend who was also single. And
Yeah.
it was just bad. Like, we were just, it was fun, but I was just not in a good headspace for like a relationship or even just to be in a committed, like in a real friendship, even. Like, a lot of my friendships at the time were like very superficial and
Mm,
the people that were supposedly the closest to me, like, I don't even talk to them now. The only people I really have friendships with from that time of my life are people that are like my ride or dies that I've known before that time.
yeah.
um but so when I met him, everyone also was like, what are you doing? Like, who's this kid? Like, he worked at like an Applebee's. Like, we met in an Applebee's. Like, he got my number when I was getting drinks with some friends, and my friends were like hitting on him for me. You know what I mean? Like, and
What?
I was like, I mean, like, yeah, it was very like movie, because a part of me was like, oh my God, this kid is like, he's like a bartender at Applebee's. Like, what does he want anything to do with me? First of all.
Oh.
Second of all, what do I want to do with him? Like, what, like, but I don't know, I guess that you don't really get to choose, right? Like, you
Yeah.
don't really get to choose if you fall in love with someone. But when we were together, it was just like it felt like I knew him my whole life. So when he was like, I'm moving away, and I was like, all right, I guess we'll just like Zoom all the time, or we'll just like FaceTime all the time or whatever. And that went like that. Like, in actuality, those few months went by like it was nothing. Like, I
Wow.
was working,
Yeah.
I was like the beginning stages of my wedding planning business. I was working for someone else at the time while also trying to start my own business. I was doing these like $500,000 weddings in Miami. So I was always
Wow.
slammed. Like, I was
Yeah.
always busy. So like, truthfully, having like a real relationship at that time, like, I was convinced I was going to be single forever. Like, but before I had met him, I
Yeah.
was like, I'm too busy. I'm not attentive enough of a girlfriend. Like, I would not be a good girlfriend. But I was also like, that was a lot of trauma from like, anyway. So there's a lot to unpack there. But I was, and then when we met, it was like, it just fit. And we just were like,
Oh.
I guess like this is it. And he was like, no, like, second day of like being around him fully, like in a relationship, he was like, oh no, you're never going to be single again. Like, he knew,
He's
like,
like,
he
no,
was
for
like,
real,
that's
this
it.
is it.
Yeah, he was like, no, you're like my person. Like, this is so
Oh.
weird. And yeah, and so we got engaged, like I said, like a year, maybe like not even maybe a year, maybe like 9 months into our relationship, because we started dating in like May, and then it was like December we got engaged. And
Wow.
then so then it was like another 4 or 5 months. So by April, we were moving back to Oklahoma for his job. So
Wow.
by the time, so we were back in Florida for a little bit with our families for the holidays, and then like spending some time like figuring out like where we're gonna move, what we were gonna do. And then he applied for the job here, and I was just working at like Starbucks at the time, because I had like quit all my jobs thinking that
Yeah.
like I'm gonna be moving somewhere, and everyone's like, "What are you what are you doing?
It's
You
like
had
a
this like career
huge
path you were
change.
on, like you were working for this big business, like you were, and I'm like, but my soon to be husband wants to move to Oklahoma for his job. So that's
Yeah.
just what I'm going to do. Like, I don't know.
Wow.
And I mean, in actuality, if I was the friend of me,
You'd be
I
like, girl, what you doing?
yeah,
Like,
I
what
would have
you
been like,
doing?
you're losing your mind. Like, you're losing your mind. Um, so we move here. And then so we're engaged. I start my wedding planning business here. I didn't think I would want to, but there's so many nerdy people here. There's so many people getting married here, like so many people, like so many young people getting remarried,
Wow.
so many non-traditional things. I was shook. I mean, I was like, I'm moving to Oklahoma. I'm moving to the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
And
like
I'm
what's gonna
moving to this
happen?
like,
Yeah.
yeah, no, hipster college town. There's video arcade bars here. There's board game shops here. There's places to go
Wow.
play Magic on like a daily basis here. I'm like, where are we? What are we doing here? And why do I love
That's
it?
crazy.
And then so we were, I had my first year here, I had like 5 or 6 weddings. And that doesn't seem like a lot, but like for your own self, like
I mean, that's
starting off in a place you don't know
yeah,
anyone.
that seems pretty
And
impressive.
then fast forward now 4 or 5 years, I'm like a preferred vendor at 2 locations,
Oh,
and my husband's like, so are we, well, my fiance at the time was like, are we ever going to get married? And I was like, you're right. You're right. We probably should. So this is 2019. This is 2019. And we're like, all right, let's start planning for next year. Let's
Wow.
start planning for our wedding in 2020. What a nice, beautiful whole number. What a beautiful year.
Oh,
What a
it's a
great
great
year,
year for a
right?
wedding.
What a great year for a wedding.
Oh my
I'm gonna be turning 28. You know, you're gonna be 2024. I feel like we know each other, we've been living with each other. Like we definitely are getting married. You know, it wasn't just like this like fluke of a relationship that we got engaged too young or whatever. Um, so we start planning. Me and my husband are obsessed with cruising. I don't know if I've talked to you about this before, but we're
Mhm.
travel heads. We're
Oh.
travel heads. Oh yeah, we travel constantly. We're like free weekend, where are we going? Like that's our vibe.
Meanwhile, like we're about to
Um,
hit like our staycation and we're like, I'm going to the bedroom, leave me alone. like, like we're not going anywhere. The kids aren't coming over. Tell your sister to stay away. You know, it's like
yeah. Yeah. We'll see, like we love to go camping. I love to be away from my phone. So we go on cruises and go
oh,
camping a lot. Because that means I can't even have access to my phone. No one can call me, no one can email
I
me. I
would
can take
feel
pictures.
lost. I would
I
feel lost.
I do, but it's because I know it's like I know I need it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like I know I need the mental break from even worrying about it.
Yeah.
Because if not, I can't relax. There
Yeah.
isn't really relaxing
Yeah.
without
Yeah. I
not
get that.
having internet service.
I get that.
So we planned this super elaborate 2020
Hmm.
wedding cruise.
Oh,
So we're going to get married on the cruise ship before the cruise ship takes off in Miami. And we'll just take the cruise as soon as the boat takes off. So it'd be
oh
like an
wow.
early morning brunch wedding. I love breakfast. Breakfast is my favorite meal of the day.
Yes.
I was like, I want like an 11 o'clock thing to like a 3 o'clock thing. And then we get off, our guests get off the boat and we leave.
Didn't exactly go according to plan.
The first thing happened, you know, early 2020. We're planning for like August because we wanted a birthday. So our birthdays are both in August. We're both Leos. We
Aw,
have birthday week. So we have the 7th through the 15th is our birthday week.
nice.
So we started planning late 2020, 2019. And then May hit, and I'm like finalizing details, right? I'm like, and they were like, oh, but this virus thing's gonna have maybe some restrictions. Like, we don't know the details yet. Like, it's not gonna be a big deal. I'm sure it's just
Oh
like the
my
swine
goodness.
flu. It's gonna be like a few months of people being sick, and then it'll blow over, right?
Oh my gosh.
June comes, and I'm like, all right, we need to postpone because
Yeah.
we're not gonna be able to get on the boat. Like we're not going to be able, like
Oh
everyone we
my
want to be
goodness.
there won't be able to come.
Yeah.
Um, it's getting like really bad, right? Like COVID starts getting like really bad around this time. And so I'm like, all right, well then we'll just postpone to December. Like we'll just book a whole nother cruise. We'll postpone all of the stuff to the next cruise for December of 2020. That boat gets remodeled because they were canceling every cruise for
Oh my
that boat
goodness.
because they're like, we're just not going to be able to sell enough tickets. We're just going to go into refurb. Like we're gonna retire this boat to
Oh,
revamp it, right? That's pretty much what they were doing during this time is they had
yeah.
no sailings.
Yeah. I mean,
So
like, what else are they gonna do?
right.
Yeah.
So and that literally happened in July. It was like a month later. I decided to change all of our plans to December. All of them. I was like, that's it. Like we're moving everything to December because at least then we'll get to, we'll still get to do the cruise.
Yeah.
And then the news comes in that they're refurbing the ship and they're canceling all the cruises for that ship. And when I say I probably had multiple panic attacks like within the
Oh
same day
no.
during this time, because I still have clients. This
Yeah.
isn't just like I'm planning just my wedding during COVID.
Yeah.
I probably had 8 weddings that year that just all postponed. And
Oh
I'm like,
wow.
I'm also handling their stuff.
Oh my
And I have like
gosh.
clients crying on the phone with me while I'm like
Oh.
crying on the phone with them. Oh my God, phone. Calm down. We're going over something serious. Um, so we're like both crying And it's like, it's going to be okay. It's just a day. You
Oh
know, I
gosh.
would rather you guys elope and be happy than, you know, and be together, because like, what if one of you gets in the hospital and the other one
Oh.
can't come see them, and,
Oh
you know, and all
yeah.
this
Oh
stuff.
my gosh.
Yeah. So, um, that July, I have a full breakdown and I book us flights to go to Florida because we're here in Oklahoma, right?
Yeah.
And we already had flights. Like I already had flights to go to December. I had flights for June for August, and then I had flights in July for August. I switched to December. Like I switched our flights
Oh
because we were
my
having to fly to
goodness.
Miami anyways.
Yeah.
And so did my parents. My parents they had already booked they had booked the cruise. My parents had booked the cruise.
Oh
His parents
wow.
had booked the cruise. Like we had all committed to doing this thing.
Oh wow.
So I told my parents, I'm like, I'm canceling our flights. I'm flying to Florida on my birthday, and we're gonna elope with my grandma's.
Oh,
And we're gonna do it in Red's parents' backyard, which is like a beautiful place in Wellington. Like it's like a
yeah.
fancy, yeah, it's a beautiful house. Like for like 15 people, it's like perfect, right?
Yeah.
My other sister lives in Orlando. She could just drive down. My best friend, he's an officiant. He's just gonna marry us.
Yeah.
And all of my family members are like, what? And I'm like, this is what we're doing now. Like, I want
That
to be married
is,
to him. I want to be married to him. I want to get a few tables, maybe like two big wooden tables, some nice chairs. We'll put it in the living room because they had a nice house. They had a nice house, a big
yeah.
house. And for that amount of people was perfectly acceptable. I got a bunch of flowers from Sam's, had that all dropped off at their house, put
Yeah.
everything in buckets, was decorating the house for like 2 days. And we got married in the backyard.
Yeah. It
And
works.
we did
It's
like a hand fasting. We did a
it's
hand
like the
fasting with
same
the
type
rope.
of location, but completely different journeys to get there.
Yeah. And then a year after that, so 2021, we got married. We renewed our vows at the zoo here in
Oh,
Oklahoma. Yeah, in Oklahoma. So that was one of the first places we ever went to. Every city
oh,
we go to a zoo. Like if we can find a zoo, we go to a zoo. Aquariums too. We love aquariums as
yeah.
well. Like the last time we were in Galveston, we went to their aquarium, super beautiful. Got to touch some stingrays. It was great.
Oh,
But so yeah, we eloped in the zoo. Well, no, we eloped in Florida, and then we got like a real wedding with like tables and decor, and like, you
yeah.
know, we had like a DJ and a bartender and like, you know, full on like
Like
wedding,
the whole thing.
the whole thing, right? And it was like done all for me because I like hired just a bunch of people I'd worked with before, and I loved
Oh,
working with them, and I had like my favorite photographer, well, one of my favorite photographers do my wedding, and then yeah, it was just, I don't know. It was for someone who plans weddings for a living, it was kind of a shit show. It was kind of a shit show. Really didn't plan out the way I thought it was gonna, but you know
yeah.
what? I think it really allowed me to have like a really good perspective on like what really matters about a wedding, and
Mm-hmm.
who really matters and who
Yeah.
needs to be there. Like I was so like kind of like you with your grandparents. Um, I wanted my grandmas to be there. Like I was very, very
Yeah.
adamant. They were not going to fly here. They were maybe going to drive down to Miami because they both live in Florida as well.
Yeah.
So they were maybe going to come to the one in Miami. But then when COVID hit, I was like, there's no way I'm not going to have them see me get married. Like there's
Yeah.
just no way.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what happened. We just made it work. And it's so funny too, because like my sister got married like in early 2019, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
Or it was like 2018. I don't even remember now, but it felt like she had just got married. Her and her girlfriend were married or were engaged for a long time too, like all through college, pretty much.
Yeah.
They were already living together, and they were already like playing house, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's just kind of how it is now, which I
I
think
mean,
is
that's what
like,
we did. We dated for like a lot longer than we were engaged. And, because
mm,
we met in like 2008 and didn't
wow,
get married until 2017. So,
that's
I
kind of
mean, that's
crazy.
a long
Yeah, you're
time.
almost like renewing your 10-year
Yeah.
anniversary.
It's like, old news now. But
Yeah, it's
I
almost like, why
mean,
aren't we already married? Like, yeah, like
yeah.
what is this
I
just a
mean,
piece of paper?
maybe one day we'll actually take a honeymoon though. That's that's on our list. We have not done that.
Hey.
So we never took a honeymoon. I don't even know if we even took any time off work afterwards just to like hang out.
What?
Yeah,
Oh
because it
my
was like
God.
so spur of the moment. We're like, hey, let's do this. And then, that's as far as we went, you know. So it's like,
Don't like you guys don't. I thought you guys you're gonna start trying to do like a yearly vacation.
well, we're doing quarterly breaks, but like the
Okay.
for quarter one, because like I feel like I live my life by the quarters now. Like it just works for me, just going with it. And ever since last fall sometime when we actually like got an Airbnb and like went away for like a little mini trip, which was
Yeah.
amazing. I was like, we were sitting out there like on the screened in porch, like looking out at this
Mhm.
lake, and I'm like, you know what? We're doing this. I'm like, from now on, we're taking a break every quarter because he gets paid vacation time with work.
Right. Like, why wouldn't you take
And
advantage of that?
yeah, and so it's like, okay, he has like 4 weeks throughout the year that he can use, 4 weeks worth of time. And I'm like,
Mhm.
there you go. There's 4 quarters in a year. There you go. There's our breaks. Let's just do this.
Wow, four
So
weeks is a long time. That's pretty
I know,
good.
yeah, it's like, so I mean, I don't get paid time off, but I got passive income coming in, so people can still
Right.
buy
Right.
stuff while I'm, on break, which is
Right.
fine. And,
Right.
I
And
take
you're already
breaks, but
backing
I'm still
down on
gonna
the
work,
other.
you
Yeah,
know.
you're already backing down on the construction stuff, right?
Yeah. So I mean, that's, I'm officially on break from that until like week and a half. And then that week that I
Nice.
go back, it's like we're only working 2 days that week. So because he's actually gone on vacation the same time I am now. So it's like I don't
Hmm.
know how much of a break I'll actually take. I will take a break. Like after I will, I promise, I will. Like I had a customer message me like last night and she's like, she quoted me from like my Instagram live from yesterday morning, and she's like, yay for the staycation, but it sounds like you're going to be busy anyway. So I'm like, yeah, I
I
don't.
literally just went off on Facebook the other day. Well, it was like an Instagram reel or something where I was bitching about how I was supposed to have a day off. Like I
Yeah,
gave myself a day off, and then all of a sudden I have like
we've
17
had all
things to
these
do because
things.
I have a day off.
Yeah.
And that's I gave myself tomorrow.
Oh, did we just freeze?
Are you okay?
I don't know what just happened. What? Like
I
what
don't know,
just
you like paused
happened?
and I was like, oh my God, like I'll just keep talking. Like, but then I realized you weren't moving and I was like,
I'm
oh
like,
wait.
I have no idea what just happened. Like the lights flickered for like a second, and I'm like, is there a ghost? Like what's happening? And then
Oh my God, if
And
you
then
have a
like
ghost there,
you
I'd be so
froze,
jealous.
and then like there was like no sound, and then I could hear you again, and then you like froze again, and I'm like, like, did I lose her? And then Zoom just went away completely, and I'm like, what is happening? And I'm like, I get ready to text you that like I lost you, literally, like the text is like right here, and then you just pop back up like miraculously. I don't even know what happened.
Call me back.
No, I didn't call you back. Like you were just
You're
there.
joking. You're joking.
Like what just happened? I,
I don't know.
I don't
I
know what
didn't even touch
happened.
anything. I went to just by myself. It says recording stopped. And I was like, uh-oh. And I was literally like, Tori.
I
And
know.
then
I
it
was like,
literally just came back.
you're frozen. Like what? I can't hear you. Like what? And then you're just it's like when you're put on hold with someone on the phone and then like
Uh-huh.
they answer another call and then you sit the phone down on the counter and the next thing you know it's like ringing and you're like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, what? You called me? No, I didn't. Like that's what it was. It's what just
That
happened.
is exactly what it was. That was weird.
That was weird. Like I don't know if I
Okay.
had an internet fluctuation, if there was a ghost. I don't know what happened. Like it's just weird. Who
Maybe
knows?
that's why like your camera went like weird too earlier. Maybe something flew in front of it.
What? My gosh, now I'm gonna have to like go back and look at the recording and see what the fuck just happened. Like,
Yeah,
who
like
knows? There's
was
gonna be
there a
like
ghost?
some entity on the recording,
Like
and it's not even gonna be us.
you were just petting the dog, and then you looked up at me, and then it froze like that, and I was
Well, I
like,
hope it wasn't a
"Oh,
weird face. Like
No,
anytime
no, no.
I'm on like video call with my sister, she has a tendency to screenshot weird faces and then sends them to me. Like I swear somewhere on Facebook there's like a whole album of like these weird screenshots of my face during like video calls with her. Like cuz
I love that.
she's mean like that.
I love
Like,
I
did you
love
see
that.
this face you made? No, I didn't. Thanks. Like,
That's so
yeah.
funny. That's so funny. Well, I
Yeah.
was just talking about how I'm having the day off tomorrow. Um, because today I only have one client meeting, but client meetings are like aren't like this is fun, like this isn't work
Yeah.
for me. And then like meeting with my client, her wedding's next Sunday, but it's really just to be like, so we've got everything right, right? Like
Oh,
what am I missing? Am I missing any
yeah.
details? Like that kind of like just check in. But yeah, no, I'm gonna tomorrow I'm gonna try to just like do nothing and hopefully my husband will do the dishes today. That would be nice. That would be really
Um,
nice.
well, his vacation time officially starts today. He's doing like a
Nice.
short day today. He agreed to like help out because they were, you know, like short staffed or whatever. So he's helping out for like a short day and picking
Mhm.
up groceries, like enough groceries to where if we don't want to leave, we don't have to. Like
I
that's
love
what
that.
he's doing.
I love
So he could be here any minute. I don't know. But
that.
he's probably just gonna like go and like play Xbox and like nap
Yeah,
today. And I've
that
got
sounds nice.
one more work related thing to do to set in motion schedule for tomorrow, and I'm done for the day. I'm probably gonna like play in my planner. I've got some work things I want to do, but they're like play work. Like I've got a summer themed sticker set that like is just sitting there needing to be finished. Like it's all drawn out. It just needs color. So I'll probably do
Hmm.
that while sitting in the bed with him while he plays Xbox, you know.
Right. That's like coloring. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, that's that and play in my book journal and read. That's probably all I'm going to do the rest of the day.
Hmm.
And
Well, I can't. I actually, I'm shook how much you read. I
oh
am
my God,
like shook on
you
how
think
much
I
you're
read a
so
lot.
quick.
It's like when me and Mandy start comparing books, it's like, girl, quit. Like I thought I read a lot in a month. And like the other day, she's like, I'm gonna hit my goal for the month. And I'm like, you have a goal for the month? Like I just read it. And it's like, yeah, I'm like 15 in. And I'm like, 15 in. And I was like, wait, counting mine. I'm like, I'm on book 9. I think I can fit in 3 more before the month is over. It's like
I can't get through 15 in a year.
it's crazy.
I am not that quick of a reader. And then I'm like, I think I'm just too ADD. Like I just have too much, like, too, like reading, you kind of have to like sit down and do it, And I'm like, I get like 4 or 5 pages in and I'm just like, okay, like I'm good. Like I've read a little bit today. I've
Yeah,
taken some
I've
time for
met my
myself.
quota. Like I've
Yeah, like
met
it's
my
almost
quota.
like less. But then again, I've been kind of like books that like I don't want to buy, but I still want to kind of like listen to or read. I've been doing Audible. And I was doing, so what I'm reading I'm listening to it while I'm working pretty much.
Yeah.
I just like have it on in the background because it like, for some reason, I'm just like way more productive when I have like something else going on in the background. Normally it's
Yeah.
like true crime podcasts.
Uh,
But recently I'm like, why don't I just read books while I'm doing this?
yeah.
So James Patterson, The Inn. It's a The Inn. I think it's a The Inn. James Patterson's The Inn.
Hmm.
I'm listening to that right now, and it's kind of like murdery, and it's got some like drug dealy kind of like small town
Yeah.
getting taken over by, some bad drugs, and a former cop owns an inn and he lost his wife, and it's very good. It's very,
Oh,
very good. I just feel like I'm way quicker when someone else is just reading it to me
yeah.
because then I can just be doing something. I could be doing something else.
I used to love audiobooks, like, because I did this thing somewhere like years ago. I found this, and it's not a trick, but it's a thing where you can, if you have a library card, you can, like, from this
Oh,
website,
yes.
check out, like, essentially
Yes.
check out
Audiobooks.
audiobooks.
Yes.
My
Yes.
problem is, like, there are times, like, when I was doing audiobook, I would get so engrossed in it that, kid you not, one time I was driving home from work and listening to an audiobook. I pulled over on the side of the road because I was like, oh my gosh, this is happening. And I'm like, so, on the side of the road, like listening to this audiobook because I was just like, I couldn't concentrate
Yeah.
on the road anymore. I was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it was just, I was so into it. Recently, I found out, I saw this somewhere on, it was either TikTok or Instagram. I can't remember where. That's my team. Um, where someone said that there's like a trick where you can connect your Amazon Echo device to your Kindle book and it will read it out loud. So like
Oh,
you don't have
wow.
to buy the audiobook. Like if you start the book on your Kindle, you can just like pick
Mm.
up on it. So there's been times now since I discovered that
Mm.
where like I'm cooking dinner and like I put my Kindle down and then I have her start reading to me in the kitchen. I mean, you can't do that when the kids around, when the niece and nephew's around.
Mm.
It's not appropriate.
Not your
They don't
books.
need to
No,
hear
not
those
your.
things out loud. Okay.
Yeah, not your
They don't need to hear
books.
those. It's like I saw someone the other day talk
Yeah,
about
you're
like
not
how to
reading
create
Narnia or Harry
like a
Potter.
custom cover for your Kindle. I'm like, that would probably be
Oh.
good, when the little ones are
Mm-hmm.
around and you don't want to see that on the cover.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
work. I don't have the
I've also
patience for
seen
that.
that one girl on Instagram who has like the discrete covers for her romantic novels.
Oh
Have you
yeah,
seen
I've
that?
seen more and more authors doing like discrete covers, and those are cool. Like I they okay, they say don't judge a book by the cover. I totally do. If that cover does not
I
intrigue
totally
me,
get
I'm not going to read it. And so there's this one author that has been playing around with different covers, and they're great. But if I wasn't already in love with the series, it's not a cover I would pick up and be like, oh, I got to read this, which is
right.
sad
I
because I know that
agree. I'm
like the
because I'm
series
like,
is
I'm
great.
gonna be carrying this thing around. Like I'm
Yeah.
gonna have this book with me. It's I guess a little different when it's on a Kindle. Like maybe I
Yeah.
wouldn't be as judgmental if I didn't, but like my bookshelf has to look nice.
Yeah.
Like I
Oh
don't
yeah.
want this
I
any.
recently like one of the authors, or it's an author duo that I absolutely love. They sent out an email blast about like a mega giveaway. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like if you pre-order this next book that's coming out on the 30th, then you're entered for a chance to win signed paperbacks of all the books in this series. And I'm like, it's a series I read on Kindle Unlimited. So, but I'm like, for a chance to win that, I'll
Now I
pre-order
need
that
it.
book. And because it
Yeah, now
also
I need
comes
it.
with like a couple of bonus scenes sent directly to your
Oh,
email. And I'm like, yeah, sign me up for that too.
sign
So,
me
and
up.
then I'm like
I'm
messaging
have to start
Mandy
trying
and
to,
I'm
they're gonna have
like,
to start doing stuff like that. You
yeah,
know,
I'm
they
like,
have to
have you
give
seen this?
something for people to want to buy the books now.
Yeah.
Well, Unlimited, I don't know how the authors are making any money. I mean, is there a lot of
It's
like advertisement on
It's
the
like
Unlimited or
something about like I don't know how it works, but they get paid like per page read or something like that.
Mm.
And
Yeah, but
so
like how are they being able to provide that kind of income like
I have
without them generating any income besides the monthly subscription?
I don't know how it works, but I saw like some author was talking about Kindle Unlimited because she was debating like going to Kindle Unlimited or offering some, and she was talking about they get paid based on like the amount of pages read. So like go all the way to the end, basically.
Like read every
And
single
like
page. Yeah.
yeah, go all the way to the end. Go back, go all the way to the end. So I don't know exactly how it works because I
Huh.
there's a lot of my favorite authors that they are on Kindle Unlimited. And
Right.
there's one author that I followed before she went on Kindle Unlimited and now she's on there.
Mhm.
Like I'm on her ARC team, so I get like all of her books like advanced copies, which is fantastic because I
That is
love
great.
them. But I
Hmm.
started out like before before that I was just like binging them and then I got hooked and then now I'm on the ARC team. But she is now on Kindle Unlimited and I just don't know how they get paid, but I mean they do. And
Right.
you know,
I mean, I guess it's paid something versus nothing.
yeah. So,
Like
but
I'd
they're
rather get
like
paid some
good.
money for my book than none.
Yeah. I One thing I don't understand is when authors put out books like that are essentially just maybe like 3 chapters and they want to put it on sale for like 2.99 and you have to buy like
Right.
12 of them to essentially make up an entire book. Like no, I'm not here for that.
Right.
Like don't do
No, and
that.
that's like just like Barnes and Noble buy the book from the author and they just sell it, or is it like a deal where they get put in Barnes and Noble and they just make profit and like they get a percentage and Barnes and Noble gets a percentage? Like,
I don't know. Most of the
how does
authors I
that work?
read these days are indie authors. So I
Yeah.
don't like,
I think it's
I don't know
probably
how all that
easier
works.
then because I know that the time I've had to try to find a publisher for the planner, which was like, because that was like kind of the route I was trying to go for the first time I wanted to do this before we went digital, was that because I was trying to be like, oh, well, to make a book, like you have to do this and you have to go to a publisher and you have to do this.
Yeah.
And then because I just thought that that was the process. And after going through that process of like looking and like all they want to do is like take a percentage of your money that you're going to
Yeah.
make. And then they're like, well, we're just going to sell a lot of it, but we're just going to take a bunch of it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
but are you just like, are you just pushing it to whomever? Are these like real people that are buying my book? Like, is it?
Yeah. I don't
And then
know.
even
That's a
just
lot.
to get things printed, like I would have to buy 100 books and then maybe sell those 100 books. And it was
Mm-hmm.
like, I had to personally buy them. And I was like, what? Like, can't I just
Yeah.
give you the, I don't know. And then I was like, well, do I go to like these fairs or do I go to like a Comic-Con and try to sell them there? Like, I just didn't know where the market would have been for a wedding
Mm.
planner. And then Etsy was like, oh, look at all these digital planners and you can get a
Oh,
physical copy if you want. And I'm like, how are they making any money on these physical copies? I would have had to charge like $150
oh yeah.
for a planner to
I mean,
get like the binder I
that's
wanted with the
that's why you
rings that
see
I
them so
wanted.
expensive. Yeah.
So, I mean, to have what I really wanted it to look like a traveler's journal, like I wanted it to look like this traveler's journal. And no, and don't even get me started on stickers. I'm like, I know
Oh,
stickers aren't that expensive to make. Why am I getting charged like, 20 something dollars a sheet? And then I have to charge
oh
people that? Like,
wow.
I don't
Yeah.
know if it was just the people I was looking into, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I kind of like the more indie side of things anyways, because
Mhm.
my community is on the eclectic and fun and different and not mainstream. They're not going to get their wedding planner at Barnes and Noble.
Yeah. One of my favorite author duos, they started out, they're indie authors. They self-published like from the very beginning. And
Hmm.
now their audience is huge. And,
Right.
like I'm on their
Right.
Patreon too, because I can't get enough of their content. Like their Patreon is amazing. But I think, recently got a book deal with like a big place that's going to do,
Hmm.
so I think you got to start somewhere, like maybe start out
Right.
indie and go, but it's a whole process,
Right,
whole
right, for
process.
sure, for sure. Well, that's one of those things where, like, especially with the podcast, like, do we start a Patreon? Do we have like exclusive
Yeah.
like videos on Patreon, or do we do like, hey, hang out with us and have coffee with us, not recorded kind
Yeah.
of thing, and
I
we'll just
mean,
like have like a live session? Depending, like, those are the things that I think become better in a podcast too, like
mhm.
setting where it's like you kind of break up that differentiation, or like a Q&A, like we do a Q&A
Yeah.
live, but it's on our Patreon. Like, I don't want to just give away free content either, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like if Audible, you want to sponsor us, like go right ahead.
I go
But
right ahead.
because
Yeah.
then we can do whatever we want. If
Yeah.
we get like a sponsor, then we can give everyone all the free content, and I just
Yeah.
don't. I mean, I feel like so many people, I've seen so many people be so profitable on the internet, but I think a lot of that comes from sharing your profit with a manager or like a
Hmm.
booking agency,
Hmm.
or and then how do you not know if those people are scams? Like, I've seen
Oh
so
yeah.
many horror stories of these Instagram girls that are like, I got scammed out of my Instagram account because I thought I was, hooking up with a manager or getting big enough numbers to, get a good following and get like real sponsorship deals, and then 2 seconds later I don't even have access to my Instagram.
Oh no, that would be terrible. Like my
Mhm.
Instagram. Oh, I love my Instagram these days. I put a lot of work
Uh-huh.
into that Instagram, but there's so many horror stories about people losing like all of their social media is just gone. And, so
Mhm.
my website, it's a good side of things too.
Oh gosh, I know. Well, and I mean, luckily enough, I feel like a website's harder to hack into than
Yeah.
an Instagram is. But
Yeah.
I know that I also feel like, if you have parameters put up, or you just like you said, like, was I a scam? Like, I could have been.
Yeah.
I
You could have
100%
been.
could have been. I could have
You
been
could have
just
been.
someone trying to reach out to you to try to get you to do something for free, and then just steal your content. I mean, yeah, I
Yeah.
couldn't imagine, but
Oh,
I
it was
mean,
terrible.
people, they're Yeah, bad people in the world, man. But oh my gosh, I think next time we should talk about the ghost stories.
Okay.
I think that should be our next one because I feel like that,
I
or we
got a
wait till
few.
October where it gets a little spookier.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got a few.
Ooh.
I got a
Yeah,
few.
dude. Good. Well, keep them in the bank. Keep them in the
Yes.
bank. And then we'll kind of we will we'll do that later because I feel like I'm already making a list of things that I want to do, and we can constantly keep things going. And if you guys want to know more about us, or I have some health issue stuff that I've gone through, so if that's like helpful for you guys and would love to hear that story, could go into that, or my early childhood trauma, we could go into that too. If that would be interesting content, you guys just let us know. But yeah, this is going to be our new channel
Yeah.
too, right? This video is going to
How
go on our new
exciting.
channel. Yeah, I know. And I just started the Instagram. I have no idea what I'm going to post on it yet, but
No
like I
idea.
have it. I have no idea. I have no idea. Speaking of social media, like I don't even, I'm like, do we just do like aestheticness? Like, do we do just like little bios? Do we just like
Ooh,
have
I
little
can do some little
thumbnails?
video clips from this, throw
Yeah,
those at you, put that on there.
that would be
Yep.
awesome. I think that those shorts of like small topics do really well on Reels
Yeah.
too. So
Yeah. We
maybe we'll
can.
mess around with that. Maybe some of
Yep.
you can get in here. But yeah, I don't know. Do you want to say anything else? Do you want to say goodbye to everybody?
Yeah. Let's wrap this up. Oh, one thing before we go, we talked about social media.
Yes.
And like everyone can follow us individually too, you know?
Yes, not just
Yeah.
the Two Victorias podcast, but
Yeah.
also on the Calypso Planning
Yep.
page, right?
Yep. It's
Is it
Calypso
Calypso
Creative Planning. And
Creative Planning?
since our last conversation, I've started a bookstagram. It's official. It's there. It's happening. It's a bookstagram. It's called Book Journal Boss, and it's fun. It's more like
It right now.
real-time book content, and like adding stuff to my book journal, and like book freebies that I hear about, like different promotions I hear about that, there's apparently like a whole book freebie thing happening. I think on the 30th I need to share something about that. So yeah, that's something new. So super excited about that. That's starting.
Say it again, say it again, say it
It's
again.
Book Journal Boss. I played around with all kinds of different names, and that's the one. I even was like throwing names at my team, and I'm like, what do you guys like? And they started throwing names back.
Yeah.
Yay. It's
Oh
fun.
my God.
It's fun.
Well, I'll go like on all 5 of my social
Oh my
media.
gosh, you have so many.
Well, okay, so I started, so that was the same thing I kind of talked about in the beginning when I was talking about my emails. Um, I didn't want anyone else to have Simply Nerdy anything.
Oh yeah, just
Like
take them
I'm
all.
annoyed that someone has Simply Nerdy Productions. Like I'm
Ah,
mad that someone owns that because I didn't even think of that until I did
yep.
this short film. I helped work with this short film where I was like an assistant director.
Oh.
Um, yeah. Yeah, tell me about it. I was annoyed. I was like, fuck, what if I could pay them? And I don't have just Simply Nerdy. Some other girl has that.
Oh.
And it's like her personal little like account where she's got like 3 photos, and it makes me want to
Yeah.
be like, that's okay. It's all right. So I have Simply Nerdy events.
Mm-hmm.
I have Simply Nerdy Planner. I have Simply Nerdy Consulting. I have Simply Nerdy Weddings. And that's all Instagram. But honestly, just simplynerdyllc.com. Just go there and everything's on there.
And
So
I'll link all that in the video so you guys can see that. Quick links, they're
mhm.
great.
Yes, we love a quick link. And listen, we're gonna have the more kind of hype we get around this, the more effort we're going to be able to put into it too. So, make sure you like and share it. If you have other friends that might
Yep.
be interested in just some girls
Spread the
talking
word.
about their lives. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you tell us what you guys want to, we can talk about those things too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could talk about pretty much anything. And I feel like Tori can too. So,
Oh yeah. Give me a
um,
topic, I'll give you a story. Yep. I got a
and
story for
that's
everything.
perfect. That's perfect for a podcast. All right. See you guys later.
Bye.